Hello, welcome to this update for the U.S. and Canada. So let's see what's happening right now with these future storm systems to watch. So now still have those winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings in the southwest, and even some small flood watches. So we have some freeze watches and some freeze warnings, some parts central California, and still some cold weather advisories in Oregon and more. So some air stagnant advisories and some fog in the valleys. So be aware. And some wind advisories, wind warnings, the northeast, especially New York, because of a clipper there. More snow that I'll show you in a minute, and some winter storm warnings near Lake Erie there. More areas, so be aware. A red flag warning in Nebraska, and a lot of stuff in Alaska. Some blizzard warnings, southeastern Alaska, some winter weather advisories, and winter storm warnings there, and some wind warnings. Those central mountains too. So be aware there, and some flood advisories and watches central Hawaii there. So be aware. But the near future, it does show the map today that general snow in the Great Lakes and even the Northeast possible, and a little bit heavier northwest in New York. Some mixed precipitation in the southwest, a couple mountain spots in California with heavy snow possible. And here for the key messages, they do have Great Lakes and Northeast snow squalls tonight, and incoming Arctic cold front brings potential for snow squalls this evening to Tuesday morning from eastern Great Lakes, New England, and the mid-Atlantic states. Any snow squall will be accompanied by intense bursts of heavy snow and gusty winds, producing dangerous travel conditions. Additional snow squalls from mid-Atlantic states on Wednesday. A secondary Arctic front passing directly through the region may bring another round of snow squalls Tuesday night to Wednesday from the vicinity of the Great Lakes and Mid-Atlantic states. Any snow squall again produce dangerous travel, and the dangerous travel impacts, so that snow squalls can be extremely dangerous. In addition to producing snow-covered roads, rapidly changing conditions, and near zero visibility, flash freezing can also occur on roadways. If you encounter a snow squall while driving, pull over and wait out. There's no safe place on the highway during a snow squall. So you all heard that. Be careful those snow squalls. Now for the expected amount of snow from the National Weather Service, they do have potential few spots in northwest New York, close to 18 inches, more orange areas of 12 inches into Pennsylvania too, and some in the Appalachians, close to 4 inches, more there in New York and those areas, some Vermont, and they do have some 12 inches possible in Michigan and northern Michigan too, in the UP especially, and a little bit in Minnesota. These 3 days, next 72 hours, some 4 to 6 inches northeastern Minnesota, and still some on the west there. Still some California, those mountains, a couple areas way north of Los Angeles, close to 6 inches, some 4 inches, some more those southernmost areas, and especially in Arizona, even shows some snow in Flagstaff, and especially in the mountains, some 12 inches, and some isolated spots there, but more like some 8 to 12 inches, and shows more in Colorado, especially some more spots of 12 inches, but generally some 8 inches in those ranges there, some New Mexico too, more northern New Mexico, and those areas of 8 to 12 inches in the higher mountains. So be aware. I don't know, here. This is the expected amount. There's a low end amount if things give up and there's like little snow. Here's the low end, but the high end, if there's more snow than expected, it could look like this. The ex, the ex, so it shows like in Colorado, the high end possible to 18 inches in some spots. In Arizona, even a few spots there to 20 inches, and does show in New York and those areas more spots of 18 inches, but most likely we will have the expected amount here. The official forecast, the high end is just way more experimental if things go differently. But be aware, now for day 2, tomorrow does show still some areas heavy in New York and more snow there, and still some mixed precipitation the west. Day 3, severe weather, the yellow, and some more mixed precipitation, the mountains, and still shows some areas of heavy snow in New York and those areas especially. So be aware there. There's the snowfall probabilities in Canada there, a lot there today, especially in Quebec and Ontario. So stay tuned for that. I'll show you in a minute. They shows like in Arizona, a few spots in Colorado, but mainly in Michigan, New York, especially the UP of Michigan, and some in Canada still. And day 1 in the southwest there today. Day 3 does show more New Mexico, Colorado, and Vermont and New York still shows. Day 4 still a slight possibility in Colorado and northern Washington. Day 5 more across the west, some the northeast. Day 6 still shows on the west, and day 7 on the northeast and the west, some possible. So keep monitoring this. Day 1 for excessive rainfall, nothing. Day 2 still nothing. Day 3 a marginal in Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas because of the storms. So be aware. Day 4 they will have a slight risk for excessive rainfall and flooding danger. So from Texas to Tennessee, a slight and a marginal around it. Day 5 still a marginal in California to Washington, and a marginal from Louisiana to Kentucky. So be aware of these coming systems. There's the winter storm severity index. Day 1 through 3, they do have the areas of moderate there, but it's surprised that they don't have major because of those nose calls. But for now, just a moderate there. Be careful. But it does say expected disruptions to daily life and hazardous driving conditions. Use extra caution while driving in the moderate. So be careful. More moderates like Arizona, New Mexico, with a few specific spots in major there. So stay safe. And shows some more the mountains in California, some areas there. So be careful. And now here for let's first see the fire outlook. Still an elevated because of the winds and everything, the humidity. New Mexico and Arizona for today, Monday, but Tuesday nothing. In day 3 through 8 it's kind of quiet. And now for the storms, a storm or two possible in California and Arizona today, in southernmost Nevada. Day 2, a small storm or two possible in Arizona, but nothing crazy. Day 3, there's here. Let's see if it loads here. So there's the slight risk right in Texas and the marginal. So like central Texas, central to western Texas, not western, like central, and the marginal all the way to northern Texas. So thunderstorms associated isolated hail and severe gusts possible across parts of southern plains from late Wednesday afternoon into early Thursday morning. So stay safe there. Be careful. And now for day 4, shows the 15% more to central eastern Texas, including Austin, San Antonio, and and this will automatically become a slight risk. So practically a slight risk on day 4, central to eastern Texas. So here for day 4, it's a mid-level lows forecast to move to the southern high plains on Thursday as associated with jet streak moves across Texas. Widespread convection appears likely to be ongoing at the start of the period related to an MCS along the western edge of the moist sector. It appears that the MCS moving to central northeast Texas during the afternoon, where surface dew points should be in the 60s Fahrenheit. This moist and unstable areas will make strong to severe storms possible in the afternoon. Mid-level jet effects northeastward across the region. Supercells isolated, large hail and severe gusts will be possible. And for Friday, the mid-level systems forecast to move across the Arctic on day 5 is a cold front that advances across central Gulf Coast states. Thunderstorms will be possible on the cold front during the day, and a marginal severe weather may develop near the Gulf Coast, but the threat is still low, that they still don't have anything for day 5 for day 8, so be careful in Texas, day 4 and day 3 there. So here, this is the GFS, shows the big winter weather system right now in Canada there. So if you are there watching this now, it's Monday the 27th. If you're watching this now, be careful and stay safe. And because the snow squalls and everything up there might be much worse than the ones in the U.S, the Northeast. So please stay safe in Canada. Shows like this goes away there, and the second clipper comes from like dives down from Manitoba into Ontario and ends up in New York there by the 29th. Some more snow in Vermont, Massachusetts, New Hampshire on the 29th, even some light one in Maine, and then it goes away there. Still some leftover snow through Ontario on the 31st in Manitoba, even Alberta. So be aware. There's the low pressure there, the southwestern West in California, in Arizona the snow, the 28th, maybe southern Utah, but shows more snow Colorado and New Mexico on the 30th especially, so be aware there, and some small spots of freezing rain in Colorado, but mainly snow. It shows that severe weather in Texas on Thursday and already on Wednesday some, because day 3 this Wednesday, so there'll be already some storms there, but the GFS like stronger on Thursday the 30th, so stay safe there. Shows like by Friday the 31st, some small spots of freezing rain in Pennsylvania, New York, and more this big low pressure system with rain and everything like central to eastern US goes on February 1st, some snow to mid-Atlantic, and it exits the coast there. And then later showing some bigger clippers in Canada on the 2nd, more snow central to eastern Canada in the northeast on the 3rd, and because of that big Pacific system, the 31st, that arrives in Washington and Oregon, into Idaho, more snow, Wyoming, Montana on the 2nd, and still after that on the 5th still shows in California more goes there, and the GFS is a big ice storm system on the 6th, a lot of ice there, snow Midwest into Northeast, the Northeast into Canada, but that's kind of far out. We can't know much yet that far out. But there's the European here, shows the big clipper in Canada, the snow in the northeast, and the second clipper on Wednesday the 29th, and it goes away, and shows like the southwest. That's snow in Arizona. This goes a few spots southern Utah, but more into New Mexico and Colorado. This is Wednesday. Right? It shows those storms in Texas. By Wednesday, there goes and like into Thursdays. This 12Z Thursday shows those big storms in Texas. The European goes later into Thursday to Louisiana and Arkansas. The cold front continues, more storms, and the dust shows some snow on the north side of this New York and northern Ohio, Pennsylvania on the first, and it goes away there. So be aware, late on the 31st, the system Washington, Oregon, more snow, Northern California, and this goes there, shows more snow like in Idaho, Montana, Wyoming on the first, and eventually this clipper might get to Minnesota, northern Wisconsin there on the second, some more snow. So be aware. Let's just see the 0Z, what it has further out. So this is the third, shows the clipper crosses central Canada into the northeast, and the European has also the 6th, that system that GFS showed some ice and snow the Midwest, but this much smaller than the GFS. The GFS likes something bigger, and it goes and exits there. But we'll keep watching this. There's like here for all of North America, so it shows the snow in Alaska now, that low pressure system. If you're watching from there, be careful. And does show on the 29th or still on the 28th, some snow into northern British Columbia, some rain southernmost Alaska, shows like this clipper through Alberta, Saskatchewan, a little bit of snow on the 30th, and still the other one like northeastern Canada there. And meanwhile, there's this third clipper that will come before. So now it's the 27th. A part of that snow from Alaska starts diving down for the northwestern territories. Later today into tomorrow, the 28th, dives down through Saskatchewan, Manitoba, gets to Ontario, and the snow starts there, northern Michigan into New York, and it goes and still in Atlantic Canada there on the 30th, shows more. And then later on the 31st, we see the system in the northwest and shows special our snow into British Columbia there, some more in Alberta, and then more like into Saskatchewan, Alberta on the first, more snow, and this clipper crosses Canada there and goes away. So be careful those areas, these coming systems. The GFS has a similar thing there, so be careful. Just some small difference, like a bigger Atlantic system on the 4th there because of the rounds of this clipper and more. But let's see the icon that we haven't seen. So it shows like this is kind of not loaded, so it shows there like the system now. This goes the squalls in Canada in the northeast, and does show the snow in Alaska right now, the 27th. That snow dives down through central Canada and gets to like the northern Midwest, the northeast. The 29th it goes more in Atlantic Canada, especially Newfoundland, some spots on the 30th. Already some snow on the west coast, starting British Columbia late on the 28th. It goes and like bigger system on the 31st, more snow for Alberta, British Columbia, more spots there later, especially like on the east. The icon shows more because it shows this system there from the U.S. to bring the severe weather, goes and like shows on the first, more snow from this possible in Atlantic Canada, some spots there. So be aware in those areas. And there's the her here shows like some showers in the southeast today. There some lighter showers, and still the snow in the mountains, Southern California and Arizona, some small showers there still. And yeah, and the snow there starting May, later today especially, into tomorrow, New York, Pennsylvania, those areas, even northern Minnesota shows a little bit. So stay safe there, and like the snowfall here, the herd does show in Arizona, some mountain spots there, close to 6 inches to 7 inches, or even more to some high mountains, more northern New York, those spots there. So stay safe, especially shows more in Quebec there. So be careful those areas. And now there's this here for the severe weather. The week 2 accumulated supercell composite. Some days ago this showed like red there, because it's what's coming this week now on Wednesday and Thursday. So this was red, but still week 2 shows like some slight parameters there for supercells. And week 1 in Texas there, and still there's a different member here that shows some more on week 2 possible on the south, some more storms there. So be aware those areas. And now for the system Canada, there's a bunch of warnings there. British Columbia, there's a winter storm watch in north coast, and some fog advisories in not areas. So snow intensifying from Tuesday night to Wednesday, the winter storm watch there. So snow at times heavy in Stewart, so be aware. And that there's like Manitoba, some snowfall warnings, some locations there now. This is now. In 15 minutes, some of these warnings might change. It changes all the time, so make sure to check this link in the description. Northwestern Territories, some snowfall warnings there for the clipper from Alaska diving down there. So be aware. Nunavut, a blizzard warning right now. In Ontario, more blizzard warning, especially like in Lake Superior Park. Blizzard conditions continue today. So snowfall amounts 20 to 40 centimeters. Wind gusts all the way to 8 km/h. Some spots there, snow squall warnings in other locations. And this gray here's advisories, like winter advisories, blowing snow advisories, special weather statements, more snow squall warnings, spots in Ontario there, more advisories. So make sure to find your location here and check the warnings in the description. So stay safe. And yeah, so in Quebec there's even more there. So snow squall watches, periods of heavy snow expected tonight. Visibilities in snow squalls may be greatly reduced to intense snowfall. And following the passage of the cold front, temperatures will drop significantly, and Arctic air mass then sweep through the province, causing temperatures to plummet. Travel may be hazardous due to sudden changes in weather and low visibility and everything. So stay safe. Be careful while driving, the same as the U.S. there. So stay safe. So like some wind warnings, some locations in Quebec there, and one extreme cold warning there. So cold temperatures combined with strong west-northwest winds produce extreme cold wind chill values. Those reaches overnight tonight into Tuesday morning. So stay safe. Frostbite and everything more. Snow squall watches throughout Quebec. So just a ton of snow squall watches. So find your location here and check the warnings. This is in the description. There's in Saskatchewan a few snowfall warnings. So please stay safe there and be careful. Day 6 through 10, the temperature outlook shows colder in the northwest, below average, and the above average in the south and southeast there. So a little bit warmer in the southeast. Day 8 through 14 still shows like more below average in the north and the northwest, still some above average in the southeast. And precipitation more above average in the north, especially spots of the northwest, some below average in the southwest and southeast. And day 8 through 14 still main is above average, slightly above, some below average in Florida and some spots to the southwest. So be aware those areas. And the temperatures this afternoon, some 70s in Florida and still cold in the north and the mountains, some 20s and 30s. But tonight into tomorrow still shows on Tuesday morning the northeast some low teens and single digits in that purple, some 20s and not down to the southern Appalachians, some 20s, some 30s down to Alabama, some 20s and teens in the Midwest, especially the northern areas of Michigan and Minnesota. Wisconsin choose some lower teens, and the mountain especially very low, like 1 Fahrenheit, 16, 17, 6 Fahrenheit, Central Nevada, so very cold in the interior of the west, especially the Rockies in the Sierra Nevada, the high mountain tops, some teens, low teens there, so stay safe. Now just closer look here, some spots. So that shows all the way to -11, some spots in Wyoming, some -5 in the mountains, and those like whites, very dark purple to almost white, they're not northern Colorado, and Idaho might be close to -17 or something. So stay safe. Now for day 2 maximum still shows cold. The west some 20s and 30s, and even the highest spots of Wyoming some high teens, and still cold in the northeast, some lower teens there during the day as well. So stay safe. For Tuesday night to Wednesday morning still shows those low teens and single digits, the higher Rockies there, so be careful. In Nevada and Utah as well, some like in Arizona, some teens and 30s all the way down to southern Arizona and New Mexico, some 20s, cold in the Sierra Nevada too, and some mountain spots there, and even Central California, some 30s, some 20s and teens in the north, and 30s all the way down to northern, to the Texas Panhandle, and then the northeast more teens and 20s and single digits, especially Maine and New Hampshire, those areas, some single digits there, and probably some negative digits in northern Maine. So be aware. Montana too and Idaho, they're very cold. Day 3 still shows like some cold in the north there, those 20s and 30s and even teens northern northeast, and like more 20s and 30s the Rockies during the day on Wednesday. Into Thursday morning shows more 20s the Midwest and some teens in the northern Midwest, and some 20s the plains as well, and some low teens and single digits in the Rockies, and all the way down to western Texas, some 30s, especially in Arizona, New Mexico. So stay safe. The northeast still those teens and single digits, so stay safe there. And this shows here like some -9 Fahrenheit, some -2, some -4, some 9. So stay safe. More teens, 20s, some spots there. So be careful. And this is day 3 minimal, and for Thursday during the day, still during the day shows some low teens, single digits in the northeast on Thursday. So stay safe, and some 30s down to Pennsylvania, some 70s in the south, another 79 in Florida, so above average there. some 60s, Southern California and Arizona, and more like some 30s and 20s. The Rockies still far. They far still show like very cold in the northeast, especially northern Maine, some -6, some -5 Fahrenheit. So stay safe there. Some teens and 20s, especially teens and 20s, the northern plains. Some teens up there, and some teens and single digits in the Rockies, in the high terrain. So be aware. More cold in New Mexico to western Texas, Arizona, and even in the interior Washington and Oregon, some 20s and 30s. So stay safe. This is Friday morning. For Friday afternoon, still some 70s in the south, and even some A is in Florida. Like A is 79, some 70s there in the south, and more like some 20s. 30s the northeast and the northern plains, still some 20s and 30s and 20s in the Rockies too. So be aware. Now for Saturday morning, the first still shows some teens and single digits there in the northeast, some 20s in the plains, and like more teens and single digits the Rockies still, but less intense. Like in Nevada, some spots are better, but still some 20s in other spots. So yeah, be aware. Day 6, Saturday afternoon, still some A is in Florida, some A1, even like some A2, some spots there, some 70s in southern Texas, and some 60s in the south, some 70s southern Arizona and California, still some 20s and teens in the north, and some 30s in the Rockies and 20s. So stay safe. The next night on the 2nd, more single digits northern Montana, North Dakota, some teens and 20s, some 20s all the way down to northern Kansas, in New Mexico and Arizona in the mountains too, some teens in Colorado. So yeah, be careful. Still some single and negative digits in the northeast. Therefore, Sunday morning, the 2nd, and day 7, Sunday afternoon, still cold in the north, kind of hotish in some spots of the south, in Florida, especially southern Florida and Texas, hotish, and still like some 70s in southern Arizona, some spots there. So be aware. The 48-hour snowfall from the National Weather Service does show there in Arizona, southern Utah, spots of like Colorado, especially New York there. Those areas just 16 inches, 15, 14 inches, and northern Michigan. So be careful those snow squalls. Uh, for ice, barely nothing, and for wingus does show better in the southwest, still some spots in the mountains, and very windy central Appalachians and into the Great Lakes in New York. So be careful there. And now for the whole area here, maybe the European and the Zero Sea and the temperatures. So does show there the Arctic front in Canada, where they said the temperatures will plummet. So you can see those below average temperatures rushing in today into tomorrow. Very cold in Quebec and Ontario. That Arctic front. So stay safe there into the northeastern U.S. Very cold too, and Atlantic Canada does show some below average into like the southwest in Mexico, and the above average to the south. That should be above average Montana, some spots of southern Canada, and more like into the east on the 31st, some more above average, but more cold later. So in western Canada, into the northwestern US, she's also like much below average Montana, North Dakota, some spots there. So here in North America, shows like those temperatures from Siberia start going to Alaska on the 28th. Very cold there on the 29th, 30th, and 31st. Those below average temperatures start going to Western Canada. So probably will get very cold around the 1st central western Canada, still some above below average on the east there, but this goes and does show going down all the way to the south to the northern U.S. On February 3rd. Very cold in Montana and more cold in the north for central Canada too. And this does go east later, below average in eastern Canada and northeastern U.S. No, this is on February 5th. It goes there, and like, where is it? It goes and potentially some small areas of cold later. This is on the 10th and more above average in the south. So be aware of this cold coming in Alaska, Western Canada, and the north. And we'll keep watching. This is just a forecast. It will change. But there's the GFS too, shows where are we. So we are here. Uh, the above average in Canada there now, and this Arctic front in Quebec and Ontario. So stay safe that cold first, and then the Siberian cold starts going to Alaska on the 29th. Very cold there. This goes and does show very cold in Alberta, British Columbia, Yukon, and yeah, into Montana, North Dakota, more cold on February 3rd. And the GFS does extend this down all the way down to the high plains, and more cold like in the north and central Canada, through on the fourth and those areas. So be aware those areas. And here's like the freeze rain accumulation for the GFS. It does show a very small bit in Colorado from this next system, but it does get some more the northeast around the first, and some spots in the northwest. And it goes and later after February 5th it gets that massive system there, but that's so far out we can't trust that. And for Cape here, for the severe weather Wednesday and Thursday, does show some Cape in Texas, Wednesday afternoon to Thursday. This is during the night to Wednesday. Some spots to 1,200 joules per kilogram goes, and throughout Thursday still shows Cape there. Some spots in Texas, but this is not strong. This is relatively low stability. So be aware, but nothing that crazy. So snowfall accumulations now for those systems shows there. In terms of accumulation, doesn't show so much, but it does show like 13 centimeters in Quebec, some spots 13, 15 centimeters. This is too little, I think, because there's no the winter storm warnings. They did mention a little bit more, but that shows some 21 centimeters in spots. There's the herd too, shows like doesn't show that much. Shows some spots in Ontario to like 23 centimeters, and some spots there. But this just until Wednesday, right? It shows some 7 inches in northern New York, some 4 inches, some 0.9 in Connecticut, some northern Pennsylvania, but especially the UP of Michigan, some 8 inches and more. So be aware, shows in the southwest there, those mountains. And yeah, and this just until Wednesday, the European, this until Wednesday morning shows 6 inches, and until Thursday morning 10 inches because of the other system Wednesday, and until Saturday the 1st shows more New York, some 7 inches, 9 inches, some other spots in Pennsylvania. And be mindful that these are just models, they can change. The official forecast that I showed you before had more than 12 inches in some spots of northwestern New York. And as those snow squalls come, they can dump a lot of snow. So be aware, there might be more snow than what I'm showing here. So be aware, but the rest of the 5 days, like in California, shows like the Sierra Nevada some 6 inches to 12 inches. The mountains, Western Oregon some 7, 9 inches. Shows some in Idaho, especially from the system on the 31st. So some 10 inches. Somewhere in Utah, Wyoming, Northern Nevada. Show some, especially in Washington, some 25 inches. The next 5 days, 26 inches. So be aware. And until February 6th, this is a lot of time, but just to have an idea, shows some the northern plains, but especially more on the west coast and the northeast. So be aware those areas, and this curve of low, the southwest, shows like as those storms are going on in Texas on Thursday, shows snow in Colorado, the Oklahoma Panhandle, some spots of freezing rain too Thursday. So be careful, and this goes there. Potential more snow on Saturday the 1st in the northeast. So stay safe in those areas, and more snow here. Let's see some more accumulations, centimeters. So until Saturday the 1st in British Columbia, some 8 centimeters in spots, some more through northern British Columbia, some on the south as well, like 1.1 in Vancouver, very little because it's protected by the mountains, but those show like some 31 centimeters, some 49 in those mountains, especially be aware those western mountains there, some 99 centimeters. So stay safe. Some eastern mountains shows more central Alberta, spot or two southern Alberta, like right near British Columbia, some spots there. So be aware. And does show just central Saskatchewan, some spots in southern Saskatchewan. Next 5 days, some 10, some 12 centimeters, some 24. And does show this snow in Alaska now. It dives down to the northwestern territories and all the way to Ontario. So shows along this path 11 centimeters, 10 centimeters, 7, 6 centimeters. 10 shows heavier, central Manitoba some 14 centimeters, and yeah, some more in Ontario, those areas there. But check the warnings link in the description for the system Canada now, because I think these models like underestimating the storm that's happening now, because I saw in one of the warnings that some snow squalls could reach 40 centimeters. So just check the official information there and stay safe. But Nova Scotia next 5 days shows some 22 centimeters, 21 some in New Brunswick, but more Newfoundland some 24 centimeters, 30 centimeters. So stay safe there. And where is it? So in Alaska still shows some 11 inches, western Alaska, some more snow there. Shows some spots of central Alaska, 0.8 in Anchorage, but shows more like southernmost Alaska, some 22 inches. And in southernmost Alaska, some 32 inches, some 31, and more there. So be aware in Alaska still. And just for curiosity, until the 7th shows somewhere western Alaska, some spots in the south. So be aware. But now those temperatures, because we have the cold in Siberia there, and it's slowly coming towards Alaska, so minus 16 Fahrenheit already, so some spots there. In Anchorage it's 32 degrees, and some spots to 18, 10 Fahrenheit. so be careful. So Monday to Tuesday, this cold starts creeping in. Spots to minus 32, some towns to minus 29. So stay safe. Wednesday, especially late Wednesday, some isolated spots there to minus 46 Fahrenheit, all the way to minus 47. So please stay safe. The towns there like minus 33, minus 29, some minus 37. So the wind chills in some of those areas might be close to minus 40 Fahrenheit, or some spots like for example this spot of minus 47, the wind chills might be close to minus 55 or something. So please stay safe. So minus 12, other spots to minus 13 in Anchorage, some minus 1 in the mountains, some minus 18. So Wednesday goes and the show Friday morning, the 31st, some minus 16, some minus 30. In Anchorage, some minus 4, some other spots, some minus 31. In Fairbanks, minus 33 Fahrenheit. So be careful in Fairbanks, the wind chills. And other spots show like some minus 46 Fahrenheit, some minus 44. So stay safe. This Arctic cold. This goes and gets colder for a moment there, not way to minus 50 Fahrenheit in some isolated spots. Fairbanks all the way to minus 38, some other towns to minus 40. Please be careful the wind chills, but this goes there. And like on the first shows some minus 22 in some spots, still some minus 15, some 5 in Anchorage, but this starts going east there, some minus 48, some spots of eastern Alaska, the first, and this slowly goes away there, but still after that on the 4th, some minus 21, those mountain spots of 16, 10 Fahrenheit, still cold later. And yeah, so be careful there. Now just very quick, some wind gusts are still very strong in the mountains, some 68, 72 Fahrenheit, some 69. So stay safe in those areas. And some 72 miles per hour. I don't know why I said Fahrenheit, this is miles per hour. And it shows like some 71 to 73 the mountains, and even the coast there in western Alaska. So stay safe. This goes, and some more wind in the south later, and potentially more stuff on the first western Alaska, some spots there, the Aleutian Islands. So stay safe. Now for like just down here in the U.S, let's take a look. So tonight in Tuesdays shows like 51 mile per hour gusts. New York, some spots of northern Michigan. This goes, and like the show Tuesday in the Appalachians like very strong, some 65 mile per hour gusts, 62 for 43. So stay safe in New York, some spots North Dakota, slightly gustier. Wednesday shows slightly breezier in the Midwest, some spots in West Virginia, some 56 mile per gust, some other spots in the Appalachians. It goes there. Does show a little bit in Montana, there on the 30th, and breezy in southern Texas in the Appalachians. This goes there, and still shows later cold, like not cold, I'm mixing everything, wind. So on Saturday the 1st shows in Colorado some 54 mile per gust, some 48, some spots in New Mexico. In the plains there in Minnesota shows slightly higher gusts. Montana shows like 65 in Montana. This goes, and does show in California there on the 3rd, northeastern California. Some more wind too, and more stuff later to watch. So stay safe in those areas. None, and now in Canada shows Monday now, stronger winds, some mountains, central northern British Columbia, so 91 km per gusts, so 98 spots to 82, so 93, so stay safe there. So 113 the mountains in Yukon, so be careful in those areas. Some 88 km per gust, some 85, so be aware in those northwestern mountains and areas. This system continues to be a little bit gusty to Manitoba and spots of Saskatchewan, so be aware. Even to British Columbia, this goes away there. And the show is a little bit stronger again on Wednesday, so 101 some mountains, British Columbia and Alberta, some 73, some other mountains, western British Columbia, southern Alberta. So this goes there and like shows again maybe southern Alberta on the first, southern Alaska, and more like northwestern territories and Yukon potentially there on the first. This still like very early in the day. This goes later on the first, shows some more 26 km per gust, northwestern territories and into Nunavut. I don't know why I said Yukon, so be aware there. Shows some more Manitoba, and that's Alberta, sorry. Don't know what's happening today, but later show like on the second more Nunavut, more those Arctic areas, and some northwestern territories still. This goes and like shows some higher gusts deeper into Nunavut on the fourth, and more there, and the rest shows some more British Columbia on the fifth, but that's too far out. So be aware, and this is just one model, one forecast, and one model run. So it will likely change. So just be aware of that. In Quebec now, shows some 81 km per gust, sunspots to 97. So be careful in Quebec and Ontario. There's snow squalls and the high winds. So stay safe there now. This goes by Tuesday morning, shows more like Newfoundland, some spots still kind of disturbed in some spots in Quebec, the Great Lakes. So Tuesday, this goes the second clipper in Ontario. By Wednesday, nothing crazy in terms of wind, but does show some spots, some higher gusts there. So Wednesday, Thursday, this goes and like we'll have to watch more later, like after February 3rd, and later like the 4th in Quebec, some spots there. So it goes, and in the meantime shows more on the 29th northern Labrador, some spots northern Quebec, central Labrador, some higher gusts, and until the 31st in Labrador, some spots there. So be aware too. And now just a quick look the temperatures there, and we are almost done. This video is enormous already, but let's see. Right now the 27th shows like some minus 38, minus 37 in Nunavut, so still cold, very cold there. Southern Nunavut some minus 20s, and this is Celsius now. Shows more in Ontario, some minus 20, some minus 21. Already cold in on southern Ontario and Quebec, some minus 6 to minus 3, some minus 4. Newfoundland and Labrador, some minus 7, some minus 6, some minus 1, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. So be aware. On the west now, still cold, so negative temperatures most of British Columbia except a few spots, more like in Yukon, northern Yukon, especially northwestern territories. But there's this Arctic front there, Ontario and Quebec comes down, and by Tuesday morning, tomorrow, already shows central Ontario to minus 30, Manitoba some minus 31. So stay safe, because this cold air will come down fast and appears suddenly. So be careful in Quebec, some minus 25, some minus 24, some sunspots minus 17, some minus 25 in the south, some minus 15. So stay safe in those areas, Manitoba. most on Nunavut, so minus 37, minus 35, minus 31, minus 33, minus 23, and to northwestern territories too. Kind of a break in Alberta and Saskatchewan, but northeastern Saskatchewan is a minus 18, some are called British Columbia, and yeah, so this goes and still show like on the 29th Wednesday is minus 31 Ontario still, and southern Quebec now to minus 25, so minus 24, minus 23, stay safe, so minus 25, minus 23 into southern Labrador. Most of Quebec shows like minus 30, minus 32, minus 28, so stay safe. Shows like somewhere Manitoba still, and minus 39, close to minus 40, some spots in Nunavut, northwestern territories, so stay safe there. Already getting colder in Yukon, some minus 28, some spots some minus 24. This goes and shows like still Nunavut, some minus 38, minus 37, very cold northwestern territories. In the south it's better, so minus 2, so minus 8, so minus 9, minus 19, but in Yukon so minus 32 already, so minus 35. In the southeast, some minus 30, some minus 32, some minus 12, minus 13 Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, close to minus 22 in New Brunswick, and southern Quebec. So this goes still northern Manitoba, very cold, so minus 30s, the south so minus 3, and it goes there like still shows Friday morning, very cold central northern Manitoba and Nunavut, and it's minus 34, but Yukon already in the like minus 42 Celsius, so minus 39, some spots, so stay safe in Yukon. More like in Nunavut, and still shows in Labrador and Quebec, northern Ontario, cold spots. Southern Quebec minus 16, some minus 2, southern Ontario. This is just a specific moment on Friday. These temperatures fluctuate throughout the day. This goes there, and by Saturday morning, still cold central northern Quebec and Labrador, most of northern Alberta, northern Saskatchewan, the minus 20s, the minus 30s in Nunavut, northern British Columbia, so minus 36 already, and shows like Yukon, so minus 43, so please stay safe. This goes the first, and for Sunday morning, this cold air dives further south in Alberta, like British Columbia, so minus 39, so minus 38 in northern British Columbia, central British Columbia, so minus 24 in Calgary. Sunday morning, like Saskatchewan, Manitoba, very cold, still like southern Quebec shows some spots minus 26 in Newfoundland and Labrador. So it goes there. Still on the third, shows very below average on the west, very cold, especially there Yukon, British Columbia, most of Alberta now, and more spots in Ontario, those areas there. So this goes and still cold later, especially like this the 6 around Hudson Bay, Nunavut, northwestern territories, spots on the west, and basically on this frame here, 99% of Canada is under negative temperatures, but it's normal there. This is winter, but the shows still some spots very cold, so stay safe, and the rest is probably too far out. So be aware, there's the GFS2, shows the cold plunge there, and this goes like shows in Yukon, and the GFS is even more aggressive, shows minus 45 in Dawson Seas, so minus 46 on the 31st. This goes and for a moment there, the GFS show like northern Yukon to minus 48 degrees Celsius. When this comes, the wind chills in those areas might be like less than minus 50. So be careful there. When this comes, this for example, the February 4th shows very cold Montreal, Ontario, Quebec, and most of central Canada, some minus 30s, some minus 20s. So stay safe. And one last thing, be careful with fog too, and these cold mornings. So especially sunspots more prone to it, southern US, sunspots in the northwest as well in Canada. Depends on the day and atmospheric conditions, but be aware. Keep track of the advisories and everything. And I show like snow accumulation, but I forget to show rain accumulation in the winter. So let's see for rain if it shows something interesting. So right on the coast of British Columbia, it might be rain. So show like some 81 millimeters and more rain from those systems there. So beware. Much of this is basically snow there, but there might be some mixed precipitation. But in Texas, the storms show like rain, so some 4 inches, nearly 5 inches in Fort Worth, in Dallas. So be careful of those storms. Some 3 inches, 2 inches, some showers in northern Florida, more like in Arkansas, some 2 inches or even more. There's the icon, shows like some 3 inches in Arkansas, some close to 4 inches in Texas. The GFS has like, the GFS is close to like 5 inches, 4 inches, Oklahoma and Arkansas and Texas, and more spots there. Kentucky some 2 inches, and more on the west, some 2 inches, 2.18. So stay safe. And in the middle of the Pacific shows in Hawaii, especially the islands there like Honolulu, some, not Honolulu but the main island there, yeah. So show like some 4 inches, 3.81. Some spots the big island some 3 inches. So be aware in Hawaii of this Pacific systems too. Uh, be aware the GFS does show the northernmost island there nearly like 4.5 inches. So stay safe. The icon does have some spots like 5 inches. So stay safe. There's the system there now. It leaves and shows a bigger system. Be careful with storms there, like some stronger thunderstorms Friday, and it goes there. The forecast still might change, but be careful there. And if you do get to this part of the video, because it's too long, but be careful. So some breezy conditions too, especially Friday, Thursday night into Friday, some higher gusts. So some 49 mile per gust in Honolulu, some 42. Friday this goes and passes away, and same thing for the seas, might be a little bit more elevated. So be aware those areas. And finally, stay safe.